Yeah, I'm gonna hop into some lies of P unless you want to go first with some Sea of Stars and just talk about your experiences with that.
Did I
Um,
not talk about Sea Stars at all on the podcast at all, or no, not yet?
no, it was at the end of the last episode, just for like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I've been playing Sea Stars on stream, over on Twitch, and I don't know what to say about it, man. It's fine. Like it's a pretty good game. It's on, I don't know, it's JRPG. This is like a different discussion, but like it's not a it's actually a
It,
French Canadian studio, but like
it's
um
still a J. Well, I guess if you want to get into that whole thing of what is a like
what is a JRPG?
why
Yeah.
JRPGs are called JRPGs, not
JRPGs.
just
But in any case,
RPGs.
it's a RPG by a French Canadian studio, and it really takes inspiration from SNS era JRPGs, I guess. So that would be like Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG. You could really see that. Take a look at the screenshots, take a look at the gameplay for a little bit, and you're like, oh yeah, that obviously it's pixel art, it's sprites, and the battle system is a lot like Super Mario RPG. So if you
Mhm.
played that or you know what that's like, you're like, okay, get it. So it's all timing based. So when you do your command, right before you hit your opponent, if you hit A again, you'll do a free follow up,
Okay.
and the same works for defending as well. So you can mitigate damage that way. The thing that is different from Super RPG though is that it uses a weird cast interrupt system. So there are times in battle where enemies will start doing like a cast. They'll start to charge up. You'll see like icons above their head and a
Hmm.
countdown to when that cast will go off. Each icon corresponds to a different attack type, and if you can manage to hit the opponent like that many times with those attributes, you'll cancel the cast entirely.
Okay.
So a lot of the boss fights are waves of like normal attacks, and then they'll do big casts. And if you can't stop that cast in time, you'll have to tank, or you have to go through like a lot of damage and heal through it or something like that. But
Okay.
that's the battle system. It's just turn based, with a timing mechanic, with like a spell attribute kind of interrupt strategic thing, which adds a little bit of a dimension that other games don't have. Like Super RPG doesn't have this like cast interrupt system, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that makes it a little more unique, and it definitely adds strategy to the battle.
Okay.
Makes it like its own kind of thing. In terms of just like story though, super simple, very cookie cutter RPG, and I don't care. I don't mind that. Like I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not gonna fault the game for being simple,
Hmm.
and I think that's kind of just like what I want right now. I just want a really easy game to chill out to and not think too hard, and just like kind of get taken through a pretty easygoing story. I don't care if it's predictable or not. You know what I mean? Like it's just fun
Right. Right.
to go through. So that's it. That's Sea of Stars. I've only playing 2 hours a day, 2 times a week because I just play on stream,
Hmm.
and I'm like slowly getting my way through. I'm like about a third of the way through the game, maybe halfway at this point. So I'll be
Okay.
done in a couple of weeks here. It's not very long. If I were to play this off stream, I'd obviously be done it by now.
I think it
But
is like what around a 20, no more than 30 hour game. It follows very much the like you mentioned some of those older RPGs. It follows pretty much their time structure. So yeah, they don't want you to spend too much time playing the game. That sounds horrible, but I mean I don't think there's probably too much replayability in it either. It's
I
like
don't think so.
yeah,
Probably
you go
not.
through it
Yeah.
once and if you want to go back and play it, just like some of those older games, you can kind of go back and play it as many times as you want, but it's not going to be a grind fest. And they just really want
Oh,
you to, like you
that
said, to have fun playing the game.
yeah. That also reminds me, you can't really grind in this game. So the
Mm.
experience is not per character. It's your experience is of the party. The whole party levels up at the
Oh,
same time.
okay.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter who's in your party at the time. Doesn't matter who's out of your party. Like they leave and they come and go for story reasons. Your whole party always, everyone's the same level. And there's not that many enemies in dungeons, and there's not a lot of enemies between dungeons.
Does that mean
And
that the battles themselves, like each individual battle, is like a little bit difficult, or like you have to think
no, not
about, or
really.
is
The
it
only
just
difficult, I mean, if you fuck up your cast interruptions a lot, you can. I have actually game over like twice or whatever,
Mhm.
because like I said, like it's timing based. So if you hit A at the right time or whatever control you're playing on, you
Mhm.
do two attacks, right?
Right, right.
So in order to interrupt some of those attacks, you have to get the timing correct. You have to do two hits. If you mess up your timing, you don't hit A at the right time, you don't get that extra hit. and you're not going to be able to interrupt that cast. And if you mess up too many times, you'll just take too much damage and you'll die. And I've died a couple times, but it's not that bad. I mean, I know why I died. I just kind of messed up my strategy. I messed up like how I planned out the fight, so I'm not like that upset. And there's like autosave. You don't lose too much progress. But yeah, you can't grind really, honestly. Like you'll level up about once per dungeon. That's really it.
Okay.
Like they make it so you don't need to and can't really. Like remember we were talking about FF7 remake?
That's exactly what I was kind of thinking about how FF7 like by the end of the game you could ask someone like what level you are and you would know where they were in the game.
Yeah, like everyone is basically the same level. Like if you in FF7 if you wanted to grind,
it was hard.
You have to like really you have to like
struggle.
replay a chapter. You don't even get chapter select until you beat the game once. So you'd have to like it would be near the end of the game where you can like fast travel and fast travel to like a weird like root area.
I think mine was in between or going to what was the name of the little small town? Crap. I'm forgetting the Honeybee Inn.
Oh, was the Honeybee Inn? That's
that path.
That's where I was grinding as well. Yeah,
that was like because like that's the only place with like a number of enemies along a long stretch that like you would go underneath the collapsed highway or whatever and like
when you're with Aerith, right?
Yeah.
That's where I would try to do it too, but you really can't really grind in
there's like 10 enemies.
You definitely can't do it in CS. You can't like technically you can like beat some enemies, save your game, and like try to leave the area and force them to respawn. But the experience that they grant is so little; it's like not worth it, honestly. So,
well,
I think they really want you to just do the story,
just
honestly,
to do the story and have fun.
I
mean, like when I played the demo, honestly, I was just hooked on the music, man. The music was so good. Same with the Messenger, the game they did before. I mean. If I played, I can see myself just playing this on a Steam Deck before bed or something like that, and just kind of enjoying the just like you said, it's not difficult or anything. You just kind of chill and play and listen to the music and jam out and do what you gotta do, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a really casual play. So I would actually recommend this. Like in the same way that like Super Mario RPG and Chrono Trigger are really good starter, quote unquote, starter RPGs for someone. Sea of Stars is kind of the same thing.
It also reminds me of like for me personally, like my first RPG that I really got into was like Breath of Fire, and also like
Capcom,
Golden Sun. Like those were like the two, and it reminded me of specifically of Golden Sun.
I can see that for sure. Yeah,
and I was like, okay, this looks like it's gonna be pretty good. And overall, I think a lot of people who've played the game have walked out enjoying it. It's on Game Pass if you have Game Pass.
It's also on PlayStation Plus if you are playing on a PS5.
Oh, real? Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's on.
So it's free for a lot of people. Not free for me. I paid for it because I'm playing on Steam right now. But yeah. And just the puzzle. By the way, the puzzles are really easy. Like, thank God, like all the dungeons have puzzles, but they're not hard.
They're not. They're not like that one game.
Yeah. Like I don't want to talk shit about Crosscode, but
I wasn't even going to mention them. I wasn't even.
I didn't really like the puzzle. I mean, if you like the puzzles, good for you. Honestly, I'm not sarcastically. Like that's their thing. It's their thing. Those intense puzzles are like their thing. Yeah. So
it's their thing. I remember you were telling me about we were talking about the next game that they're making, and it's just like, it's like it's probably gonna have the same puzzles.
I was curious. I was like, I love the vibe of Cross for the same reason I like Sea of Stars. I love the pixel art. I grew up in that era, right, of Super Nintendo RPGs. So I was like, maybe their next game will be something I can enjoy. And I like to look at their gameplay development snippet, and I'm like, nope, that fucking thing bounces off the wall. No, I know where that's going.
It was like, I already know. But I mean, so because after this, like you said, you'll probably finish up in the next couple of weeks. You also have Super Mario RPG coming out.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good season. I mean, I think we've talked about how good of a year it's been for games. And there's a whole discussion about the opposite end for how bad it's been for developers in terms of layoffs for this year. There's been like 6,100 jobs lost in the game dev business.
Yeah. Or if you're fucking Unity, or if you use a Unity engine, Unity engine. I mean,
yeah. So I mean, we're living the good days of gaming right now. But come 2026, somewhere around there, when all the Yeah, there's gonna be a drought. There's gonna be a drought probably, but
Also,
hey,
a literal drought. Thanks, climate change.
oh gosh, a literal drought.
Yeah,
There probably
2026,
will
man.
be.
We'll be
Oh
dead by
man.
then, dude.
Oh man, the good old days. How far they've gone away. So that's Sea of Stars, and like we said, if you've got any of the streaming services, it's pretty much on there. Or if you'd like to buy it for, I think it's like what $30,
It
29.
might be 30 USD. It was like 40 CAD for me, actually. I think there's regional pricing for sure for Sea of Stars. I was talking to someone in my chat when I was
Mhm.
streaming it, and they're like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. It was like 15 bucks." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Whoa, shit!" Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's 45 Canadian dollars for me.
Oh wow.
So they definitely do regional pricing, and so depending on where you live, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's 45 CAD. I can't, you know.
Yeah, it's 34.99 USD is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
So yeah, like you said, regional pricing. If you go ahead look it up, it's on everything under the sun. So yeah, and